He lived an ordinary life. At least that's what he believed. Days spent behind a computer screen, nights lost in sleepless thoughts. There was always this feeling, deep down, that something about the world didn't make sense. That beneath the familiar streets, the bright lights, and the noise of everyday life, something was hiding. Something was wrong. And then, one day, the truth came looking for him. It began as a whisper, a message that broke through the static of his reality, calling him to wake up. When he finally answered, everything he thought he knew began to collapse. He was shown a choice: to continue living in the comfort of illusion, or to open his eyes and see the world as it truly was. The decision seemed simple, but the moment he made it, the world dissolved around him, and he awoke to a nightmare he could never have imagined. The truth was worse than anything he could have dreamed. Humanity was no longer free. The world he had known, the one filled with skyscrapers, coffee shops, and endless commutes, was nothing but a simulation, a lie built to keep minds asleep while their bodies were trapped and harvested by the very machines they had once created. He had been living inside a prison of the mind, and now, awake for the first time, he saw the real world: scorched skies, endless ruins, and the last remnants of mankind fighting desperately to survive. Those who rescued him were rebels, outcasts who refused to live as slaves. They believed he was special, destined for something greater, a key to changing everything. But belief alone wasn't enough. He had to learn to see differently, to fight differently, to let go of everything he thought was real. His teachers showed him that the rules of the old world no longer applied. The limits of strength, gravity, even death itself were nothing but illusions. The mind could bend the world if only he could learn to free it. But freedom came with a cost: doubt, pain, and the terrifying realization that the boundaries between illusion and truth were thinner than he had ever imagined. Inside the simulation, he faced enemies unlike any other: cold, precise, and unstoppable. They could appear anywhere, at any time, with the single purpose of keeping humanity asleep. Every battle was a test of faith, not in gods, not in destiny, but in himself. He stumbled, failed, and questioned everything. Was he truly the one they believed him to be? Or was he just another man lost in a dream he couldn't control? The lines between the two blurred with every fight, every fall, every impossible decision. But in the heart of doubt, he found strength. Not from certainty, but from choice. He chose to fight. He chose to believe. He chose to risk everything for the truth. And when the moment came, when all hope seemed lost, he did what no one thought possible. He bent reality itself. He saw beyond the illusion, and for the first time, he understood. Power was never about control. It was about awareness. Freedom wasn't given, it was taken, seized by those brave enough to wake up and face the unbearable truth. By the end, the man who once lived as a prisoner became a symbol, not of perfection, but of possibility. Proof that the mind, once awakened, cannot be caged again. He became the voice that whispered to others trapped in the illusion: wake up. The world is not what you think. Because sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do isn't to fight your enemies, and it's to open your eyes. Can you guess the movie?